So I thought this was pretty cool, whether you like him or not. Biden has a ton of his proposed policies on his website. I actually couldn't find the equivalent for Trump. So if anyone listening can, put them in the link or put them in a comment because I'd love to see it. But you can go to Biden and just see exactly what he says his plan is. Now, maybe this will change for taxes and gun control and women in business and all this stuff. And I just thought that was nice to be able to go in and like see what he's actually reporting. And it's funny because from a tax perspective, he should win this 99% to 1%. Like if you understand marginal tax rates and things like that, and you're not getting disinformation, he's going to take money from people who make over 400 grand, and he's going to take it from corporations. He's going to increase capital gains taxes, and he's going to tax companies that hide their money abroad. That should be like landslide. Everyone's clamoring for it. Politics, which is kind of interesting because it makes me think either people don't understand or they really just do not care about their financial well-being above other things in politics.
I'll give you two alternative versions. So I do understand what you're saying. One is that the effect that would have on the economy, and this is perhaps the more Republican thing, would have downstream effects for everybody, which would be negative. The other is that the government, the other is that I'm on my way to over $400,000.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what
I think that's a real. I think that's a real belief.
Get out of my way.
You'll get there faster if you had this tax policy.
Sure.
You'd have more money and more government stuff to get yourself to 400 grand sooner.
Sure, maybe. You know what I mean? And I'm not disagreeing with any particulars of the policy, but it's also unclear. This is something that I struggled with on a personal level that the government is still trying to figure out. I think I've mentioned this story before. When we all went to Brazil, you went with a lot of savings. I went with very little savings. We had one friend who went with $2 million in his bank account, and my brother went with my mom and dad's credit card. And if you charted the desperation that each of us felt, it tracked very closely to the innovation that each of us created in that period.
Oh, one of the things I thought when reading this was I was like, I really, so the other thing is I've been listening to Coleman Hughes, which I'd never done before. So good recommendation for you. I think from you. I think he's really intelligent. I don't think we do welfare well in the US in terms of, I don't think that we help people get out of their situations. So one of the things reading Biden's website made me think was maybe a UBI makes more sense than what we're currently doing, because there's certain incentives where you can only get a certain thing if you're a single mother. You can only get a certain thing if you're a Black entrepreneur. You can only get a certain thing if you're a female. You can only get a certain thing if you're whatever, instead of just being like, okay, let's just provide and like let everyone kind of benefit, because then you don't have weird incentives like staying single because you get more benefits.
Or not taking a job where you could move up, but it pays as much money as you're earning from welfare. So it's like, well, I will just stay home for, there's
exactly.
There's strange incentive
structures. If I take this job, maybe in 5 years I can make more money, but right now I just have to work and make roughly the same. So I just won't go. So I actually think the incentive structure is really bad, which made me think maybe UBI has more logic to it than I have heard a lot of people say. I think a lot of people just throw UBI out as crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. I'm not necessarily saying they do it well. I'm just saying people, to me, clearly don't care about money when it comes to politics. Was kind of my takeaway. Like they're much more interested.
No, I think it's I don't think it's that they don't care about money. I think it's that they don't have clear understanding of policy implications. This is something that Bernie struggled with, was, will you raise taxes?
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to raise your taxes, but we're going to lower it. You're going to get your premiums down. It's like that.
Well, I said on Reddit, I was shocked by people who don't understand marginal tax rates. So like, I didn't realize this, but there's people who have turned down promotions because it was going to make their pay increase such that, like, let's say they make 30 grand a year and they're taxed at, I'm making this up, 15%. And they're going to go to 40 grand a year, but get taxed at 22%. And they just go, oh, all of my 40 grand tax at 22% is less than 30 grand at 15%. I'd rather not get the pay raise, because they don't understand that.
I have a hard time believing that that's real, but I do.
No,
that makes sense.
I think it's 100% real. I think there's a lot of people who have never even heard of it.
That's such a shame.
Dude, that's not what they say. They say Biden's going to raise taxes to 53%. You're going to take home less of your money. That's like literally what they're marketing to people. And so, yeah, you have to actively ignore everyone who says that and then look into how marginal taxes actually work. Sure. And it's like, I get it. I find it totally believable that people just don't understand that it's always good to take the raise, because your increased taxes are only on your increased dollars. So which is to your point, like, yeah, maybe they do care about finance and just don't know
understand
what the policies
what the implications are. Yeah. I think that might be true. With the broader point that I think about as regards welfare with my brother is we watched him, have mom and dad's credit card, not do much with it. We started a business. The guy with $2 million did nothing, like literally slept until 6 p.m. most days. The guys that had a little bit of money, they since created businesses. My brother then, when we left, had to go get jobs that he hated in Las Vegas when the credit card was taken from him. And he was, he had jobs that he didn't want to have. And he was like a busboy picking up cups at clubs, dealing with jerks. And what had happened was for him, there was the year in Brazil of fun, a year and a half in Vegas of not fun, and then like 6 months of really trying, fiddling this business, not getting it. And then finally he broke through after probably 2-ish years in Vegas where his side hustle overtook what he could make from picking up cups and being a busboy and all that kind of stuff. And he now does that. And so what I struggle to think about is how much support is appropriate. Because clearly my brother, when he was 3, needed everything from my parents. And when he was 18, he benefited. And maybe he benefits from free college education. Or maybe, I don't know where it turns from destructive to give someone more stuff. So I don't know where I land on most welfare. I don't know where I land on many policies. But I know that there is absolutely a moment in time. This is why I give a lot of money to charity water, where it's like, if you don't have this, you need.
Yeah, if you're a kid and you can't drink water without getting a mouth
water,
tumor.
you need food, you need to be taken care of. And I think there's even supports when you get older. It's like, you need mental health support. You need all of these things. But at some point, it's very evident to me that becomes counterproductive.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where in our society that is the case. I suspect that the number one thing you could do is around the basics of life and then education. But
I think, safety and education and food.
But then the problem with education, which I experienced in college, is when you subsidize something, it disconnects from the marketplace, which is to say, like when
I was thinking like elementary school education. I was thinking the fact that people go to 6th grade and it's a dangerous walk, or they can't. They have to go to get jobs because they have to support younger siblings. I wasn't thinking that college should be free. I was thinking just like everyone should have a pretty solid K through 12 experience.
Well, even that, I think the criticism I have is when you subsidize something, it becomes disconnected from the marketplace. Not that it needs 100% of the time to be connected, but I mean, we wrote cursive up through 4th grade. We were working on cursive. It's like you couldn't have. There was a computer in the class, but it was only for video games and playing when you were a good kid. It loses its connection with the world, and you're teaching something that was useful 30 years ago.
Sure.
You can't use your calculator on the test. What are you going to have, a calculator in your pocket? You know what I mean? Everybody in Silicon Valley would have said yes, you absolutely will. Yeah. But it loses its connection. So. It's just sticky. It's a very difficult thing to know what to subsidize, how to subsidize it, how to pay for it. I'm not saying we should take away public education, by the way, K through 12. I might even be for it in college, but it's tough to keep it incentivized such that people are still connecting to a world that has economic demands on them, and that is technologically evolving and isn't just in this, money comes in every year, so we'll just teach the same curriculum that we have for the last decade.
Sure.
So I don't know. I shouldn't be president.
We won't vote for you.
We won't vote for you.
This is going to bite you in the ass when you run in 20 years.
No, did you see what he said?
He said he shouldn't be president. He said it right here.
I'll tell you what, man, reading all these Dwight Eisenhower things, it is a thankless job. Sure. And one of the other, Jeff Bezos is more powerful, in my opinion. And it's not because any given year he's more powerful. It's because he gets to run Amazon for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And as Barack Obama saw, you can work and struggle and try to get everything and get your bill passed about healthcare, and then it could just be taken away by the next dude.
Sure.
So it did make me go, okay, if you want to really help presidents, it's a solid job, but man, it is not the best.
Yeah.
If you could be owner of something and have a long-term vision, it seems. So I guess go run for president of China, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Then you can be
Putin,
or Russia.
How long's Putin been in power?
Dude, he's been long time.
He's been winning democratic elections for decades.
20 plus years. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, he's just got more approval from the populace, I guess.
He might have that mandate. I see, and I think the 2-term limit makes a lot of sense, but I saw the value of having a cohesive plan when I was reading these books and how things, and then Nixon comes along and, you know.
Well, this is what I just don't know the answer to. Is like, was our government more cohesive before and now it's super divisive and the opposite sides hate each other? Or did the opposite sides just always hate each other?
This is what was nice about reading McCarthy. I mean, yeah, there's been political opportunism, and people's basic wiring of being attracted to insults and criticism, I don't think has transformed much. What has transformed is the amount that you can receive, how frequently you can receive it, the subdivisions that you can receive it in, meaning that instead of all of us watching Walter Cronkite and having the same basic facts to work from, you can get a completely different fact set from me.
Yeah.
And then I realized that Henry, my brother, was listening to Instagram, and it was Shark Tank. I was like, Henry, you don't watch Shark Tank. But what it was the 22-minute episode condensed into probably 3 minutes of just like none of the walk-ins, none of the cuts, talk. It was a better product.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is what they're just squeezing. Everything is getting choked down to the smallest unit that it can be consumed in, because people have no attention anymore. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.